Saving America one entrepreneur at a time, it's the Biz Wrap Podcast with your host, Michael Manahan. The show that celebrates small business and entrepreneurs, it's Biz Wrap Radio with your host, small businessman, educator, and author, Michael Manahan. And welcome to another edition of Biz Wrap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan. And thank you so much for joining me today. As always, I've got a absolutely fabulous show lined up for you. If you're new to Biz Wrap Radio, we are the show all about small business and entrepreneurs. And what we try to do here at Biz Wrap Radio is bring you information, guests, ideas, things that can help you either as an entrepreneur or as a small business person in developing and growing your business or your business idea. We have had on successful entrepreneurs. We've had unsuccessful entrepreneurs. We've had money guys on the show. We've got people who can assist you with all manner of business strategy, whether it's social media, whether it's marketing, whether it's organizational structure and design, insurance, just many different people who are willing to share. And the nice thing about the guests on Biz Wrap Radio, yes, a lot of them have something to sell, but many of them offer really great free services to entrepreneurs. You can go to their websites. They've got white papers. They've got free chapters of their ebooks. They've got things you can download and use in your business. And also, many of them are willing to do a free consultation, maybe an hour on the phone or in person in their offices. And even if you don't use their services, these are great learning experiences. And if you're in business for yourself, you've got to be learning. You've got to be constantly moving forward. You don't need an MBA, you don't need a doctorate degree, but you do need to be a lifelong and a constant learner. The business environment is changing, whether it's government regulations, whether it's shifting social and demographic, technological trends. All of these affect your business, and you need to be a constant learner if you are going to be an entrepreneur. Don't forget, we love entrepreneurs at bizwrapradio.com. And we love profits. Your goal as a business person is to make money. Yes, profit, it's not a dirty word. It's what you need to do. You take your profits, you reinvest in your business, you take care of your family, you take care of your employees, and if you make enough money, as many entrepreneurs do, you take care of your community. And I just love talking to different business people across the country who are involved in their local community. They're writing checks to the local softball team, the local soccer team. They're helping at the local homeless shelter. And it's not like when Coca-Cola sponsors the 10K run in your community. For Coca-Cola, that's just a gimmick for advertising. But when a local businesses, when they support community activities, it's really coming from the heart of those local businesses. They're trying to take care of the communities in which they operate. And speaking of kind of caring and passion in entrepreneurship, our guest today just is absolutely a caring, compassionate person. I'm so lucky to have Kathy B. on with me today. She is the CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia, and she is an entrepreneur extraordinaire, award-winning singer, songwriter, musical playwright. She's an author, producer of TV shows, and the list goes on and on. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me as a guest.
Now, how do you wear all of those hats?
You know, it was difficult trying to do that because people will say, well, you only need to focus on one thing. And I love multitasking. So prioritizing, I learned to prioritize. That was hard. It was difficult.
Yeah, that's something I'd really like to talk to you about because I've heard the same thing. I remember, was it... oh, gosh, you see, this is what happens when you get to be my age, but there was a famous author wrote a business book many, many years ago, back when I was doing my MBA. But I remember one of the things in the business book, one of the phrases was stick to your knitting, which kind of meant you needed to focus on kind of one thing. But I come across many, many entrepreneurs who do wear many hats, and I do that as an entrepreneur. I'm a university professor. I run a consulting practice. I do a radio show. I have a small travel business, and yet, I managed to make everything work. So is it really good advice that you should just stick to one thing, or do you think a good entrepreneur can actually be involved in more than one thing?
I really think that it involves the person. It's a personal, preference. But my grandfather was a farmer, and as a farmer, he didn't just grow corn. So he had multiple things that he had to do in order to keep that farm going, and he had 13 kids.
Wow,
so
13 kids?
Yes, and on a farm. And this, this was back in the day, but this was his full-time job. And as a young little kid, I watched him, and I watched him be able to do many things. And that part of me knew that it was in my DNA. The other part is I tend to get bored. So I have to teach myself, even though I have all these wonderful things that I want to do, to what I need to do now, and in order to make the best out of this particular project that I'm doing. So I'm project-oriented.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about your business, because one of the things that you have done is almost you've approached the artistry of who you are, singer, songwriter, but you really have very much said, hey, that still needs to. I still need to have a business orientation to I guess capitalize on that artistry.
I really spent a lot of time, my early years, with groups on the road, joining groups, being in groups, having groups of my own. And the focus was basically on trying to keep alive at one point. When you have your own group, you've got to keep everybody going, you've got to pay for all the expenses and all. And I could never figure out, okay, how do these people become stars? And until got a little deeper involved in it and charted Billboard, and that opens my eyes to many things that were going on, and come to the conclusion it was money backed. So you had to have deep pockets, or you had to align yourself with people who had deep pockets in order to become a quote star in America. But then you gave up something. You gave up your freedom, and you became the property of somebody who had those deep pockets. That was scary.
Yeah, that's always that's always the trade-off. If you are a person who creates content, if you will, whether you're a writer, an actor, or a musician, it's important, at least I would think, to maintain ownership of your intellectual property. And in order to make money off of it, a lot of people want to take that away from you. And then if it becomes very successful, you're getting a small piece of it, and somebody else is taking wheelbarrow loads of cash to the bank.
And you know what, worse than that, Michael, is when people change your material. You wouldn't think we'd be so focused on money so that we can keep creating some more items. But, it's the money, but also when somebody comes in and they own you, now they want to make those changes, and they want to change who you are, your look, how you talk, how you walk, and your material itself. And I'm telling you, it's like being an artist who paints and have somebody else add to your canvas, put something on that they think that should be there when it wasn't your dream. So it's very important as an artist to maintain that dream. Because if you're unhappy with your material, there's a sadness that comes over you.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, and I guess it's almost like I don't know somebody who's a rock musician, and somebody the manager comes along and says, well, country and western is really big right now. Why don't you write a few country and western songs? but
And they wonder why people in my industry do drugs. I don't, but I get because I'm really centered, and I do pray, and I'm a very spiritual person, and I care about others. So if I get myself in one of those little deep holes of wow, things should be going faster, quicker, then I just think about others, and I'll do something for someone else, or I'll read something how someone else's life has just escalated, and normally it's because they gave of themselves to someone else, and their own life was elevated.
That's interesting. Look, Kathy, we're about 30 seconds away from a commercial break here. So just again for our audience, I'm talking with Kathy B. She is the CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia, Inc. Kathy, when we come back from the break, I want to find out more about what you do and what your business does. I want to make sure we give out your contact information so that if anybody listening would like to contact you, they can. And so we're going to do that right after we come back from commercial break. It's Mike Manahan, your host, BizRap Radio. I'm on with Kathy B., CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to BizRap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan, and thanks for sticking with us. If you just joined us today, we are speaking with Kathy B. She is the CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia. We've been talking about how artists and artistic people still have to make their artistry into a business. And Kathy, thank you very much for sticking with me.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll talk about Touching Lives Multimedia. You do a lot of things, but really, what is the essence of your business?
Well, I call myself a producer, because you have to kind of, put it into one single phrase of who you are and what you do. When I went to a place called CEO Space International, that's where I met Darlene Grimes, who introduced me to you. At CEO Space, basically they taught you how to be an entrepreneur, how to strengthen who you are, and how to collaborate. So my Touching Lives Multimedia, my business is to produce events, whether it's online or local events at my facility at TLTV Space in Downey, or we're going back to the TV show as well. So that, because I did 250 Touching Lives TV shows, and my shows are about, like what you're doing, people helping people.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, you actually have your own facility where here in Downey, California. It's 3,000 square feet. What kind of events do you actually put on at that facility?
Well, we've been around for 3 years now, and we've put on from movies. We've actually had some movies that were produced there, and we also do weddings and seminars, workshops, and pageants. We've had a little bit of everything that you can think of in there. Quinceañeras, so all kind of events. My goodness, even a celebration of life type things and weddings.
Wow,
so
that's
we
amazing.
Really much can do everything there.
So you have full, I guess I would call like catering facilities, and people can have food and bartenders and all the things you would normally find at like a convention center or a hotel?
Well, the beauty of it is we allow people to bring in their own catering, and we actually have some caterers who are right around us. We have event party people who have, if you like something else that you want to bring in, you have that available to you, something fancier in chairs or staging. And so it's just a nice place for that. Now, as for bartenders, we do not sell alcohol. Mm-hmm. We have private parties is what we have there. And if we have a licensed bartender who serves, but we do not sell alcohol.
Gotcha.
That we do not get involved with at all.
Okay, so this is great because I know a lot of companies, and not just companies, but private individuals are often looking for places to host something. I know I was approached by a gentleman who said, Mike, you teach at California State University during the summertime. You probably have classrooms that aren't being used. I could use some classroom space to put on my little conferences, but boy, I'll tell you, trying to rent a classroom from California State University, even though there's thousands and thousands of classrooms sitting empty. I mean, you could build a pyramid easier than you could rent a classroom from Cal State University system. but now, if somebody does somebody have to take your full 3,000 square feet, or is it broken up into smaller rooms? So if I needed a room to hold, say, 100 people, would I be able to get that from you?
Well, basically we have, that's the one room, the one great big room. But we have another room that will accommodate easily 40 people. And we actually use that one for a kitchen-like area. The food is. And it was set up for my TV show. Uh-huh. So basically that would be the green room and the actual makeup room. And then you'll have the big room for the stage. And then we have upstairs. Mm-hmm. So there's a room upstairs that will hold about 20 people. And it's more of a living room setting up there.
Gotcha.
So it's... no, go ahead.
If somebody's listening right now and they're thinking, I got an event, I need a space for 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 people, how can they contact you? What should they do?
They just go to tltvspace.com. And they can take a look at it and everything. It's T as in Tom, L as in love, T as in Tom again, V as in Victor, SPACE.com. And then they can see the facility and check it out.
Okay, so that's great. So if you're looking for maybe some space to hold an event, definitely contact Kathy. But Kathy, tell me a little bit more about the other things you do in your business. I mean, what is your main focus right now?
Well, right now I am focused on doing the actual TV show again. Touching Lives is the name of the TV show. I did 250 shows. It was 10 years, and we bought leased access time on cable TV, and we bicycled it. So for all the people in the day, that's what she used to do. So we were in 14 surrounding cities and Downey. Mm-hmm. And the show was on Friday nights at 7 o'clock, so it was a good space. And it was on like a channel 36 when Fox was on like a channel 34. So if you didn't like that channel, you flipped it over to ours. So it was at that time. And we made our set look like sets that were on other channels, so it didn't give it that cable feel. We made it look like it was more professional. And so many people came through my channel, and I did touch many lives, and I want to do it again. I really miss that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't maybe not understand some of this terminology, but the way your show worked, you had to kind of purchase the airtime from, I guess, the cable distributor or whoever operates the cable system. Is that how it works?
Yes, you purchase the airtime, and I actually started out with a half-hour show, and then it escalated to an hour show. So when I very first started, like most people, you should do this. I took lessons on what to do. Because my very first show, I went in as just a producer of a show. Public access is what it was. And I had been on shows before and hosted shows, but I wanted to do my own. And the very first show that I did as a public access producer, I had to take the classes and all. And then when I lined up my guests and had them come in, they lost my first show. They actually lost the entire tape and everything.
Wow.
So it never aired.
Oh, my God.
And so I knew I had to step up to the next level and learn that one. Uh-huh. How to buy the tape, where to go, get my own cameras, do my own editing. Uh-huh. And I did.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, you see, a lot of people, I think, who are listening would think, if I wanted to do something like a television show, I got to have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars behind me. I've got to have some slick Hollywood production. I've got to have, be sponsored by one of the major studios. But what you're saying is, hey, that's not true. You could actually produce economically a local show, purchase airtime, and air your show, and start out that way. You don't have to kowtow to a bunch of Hollywood types and hope that your show gets picked up by one of the major studios.
And it's right, but it's even better today. This is even better. because when I was doing it, you still were locked in to using the studio and the services of the local cable people.
Right.
Now we have a thing called the internet. And oh my goodness, this next show, it'll still be TV, but it's going to be produced and I'll have the distribution through the internet. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited about it. We'll be able to reach far more people, and taking what I know now and being able to produce these. And people out there, yes, you can. You have high-definition cameras today. You have those on your phone. You have those on your iPads. People did whole movies now. They're doing movies with just their phones, folks. So you do have the tools to do this. It's the content. And here's my word to people. Be professional about what you do and what you put out there. You pay attention to that content. Don't make it goofy and stupid. And then if you have a format, stick to it. Because people are going to want to see the same kind of a thing that you're doing. Like, Michael, your format, you're helping entrepreneurs. You're helping small businesses to grow. And you're giving out that information. That's your format. And that's the advice I would give people who want to do a show as well. Stick to your format.
I think that's great advice, and I want to talk a little bit more about this. In our coming segment, we're going to have to cut here for commercial break. So just let me recap the end of this segment. I'm speaking with Kathy B. She is the CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia. She also has she's planning on launching a new version of her old television show. She also has Event Space, which you can rent from her. You can go to tltvspace.com and check that out. I'm your host, Mike Manahan. This is BizRap Radio, the show all about entrepreneurs and small business, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to BizRap Radio. It's your host, Mike Manahan, and thank you so much for sticking with us. And again, if you just joined us today, we are speaking with Kathy B. She is the CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia. If you're new to BizRap Radio, we are the show all about small business and entrepreneurs. And Kathy, thank you so much for sticking with me on the show.
Thank you, Mike.
Now, we were just talking, you're going to be revitalizing, if you will, a television show that you had on previously. You did 250-some-odd episodes. And we were talking about how, you don't need to be a big Hollywood production company to do a television show today. And I wanted to relate a story because I appeared on a business television show. A good friend of mine runs the show. It's called Money TV. It's broadcast I think 46 million homes in the U.S. And I went down to a place in South Orange County here in the California area to his studio. And his studio was basically, a small room, not much bigger than my living room. And he had two chairs sitting in the middle of a room, and we sat in those two chairs. And then when I saw the finished product, there was the backdrop of the New York Stock Exchange. There was a table that was not in that room. There was a flower pot with a palm tree in it. All of this stuff had been created electronically, and when we filmed the show, it was just two of us sitting on chairs in the middle of the room. Absolutely amazing what technology can allow you to do. And I presume you use some of that same technology when you're going to be doing your show?
Yes. The only thing that was different, because I did pull some of my people in a little back studio that I have in a back house. I made it into a studio, and I did some interviews there. The differences, and the reason that TLTV Space is there is because I love the audience. I love the feedback from that live audience. And that is why I'm doing the event space is there. And, of course, that's pay for itself. But the live audience, you get that extra, and I'm sure as a professor, you get that extra feedback from people.
Oh, absolutely.
And it takes you places that you didn't even realize you would go.
Yeah. In fact, I teach both in classroom and online classes, and I so much prefer the teaching in the classroom, even though a lot of students prefer the online teaching. I so much prefer being in the classroom. It's just the energy of the students and the rapport with them. So yeah, it's people like to be around people.
And I think maybe that, while as we're talking about it, I'm thinking, well, maybe that comes. I've been a singer since I was 2 years old, and I sang. And my grandfather was a minister. I started in his church, as a lot of singers do. And it was the audience, the feedback that you get from that. It's the same when you do a show and you have people there. So it's that, and it's not easy. Okay, let me tell you, it's not easy keeping something together and doing something that is not in your nature. Mm-hmm. My nature is to sing, write songs and jingles, and to produce those. However, making a living from that has been very, very difficult due to the fact that I would much rather create. Mm-hmm. And then I find that if I do the creative thing, then the left side of my brain, the business part, the right side will shut off the creative, and the left side has to take off. And it's not as matured, it is not as functional as my writing a song and singing a song.
Well, I'm just amazed that you're able to do both, because a lot of artists cannot. And of course, the sad story we always hear out of, Hollywood is an actor or a singer, or songwriter who has spent years and years and years with successful hit shows or hit records, and all of a sudden they're declaring bankruptcy because they either signed really bad deals or they hired people to manage their business affairs, and the people absconded with their money or had them put money into bad investments, and it's always such a sad thing. And so when I see an artist who can also take care of the business side of their affairs, that I have a lot of respect for people like that, and clearly that describes you.
Well, I would say surrounding yourself with the right people is very, very important, and different types of people. Have you ever read the E-Myth, Michael Gerber book?
Yes, I have, actually.
That one, I formed a mastermind group years ago after being a Toastmaster. And this was many, many years ago. And I keep a mastermind group going. And right now, because I'm really busy, I keep it on paper. I still do my mastermind thing each week, and it's just me. I follow the mastermind information that I put out. And basically what that does, it keeps me as a solo entrepreneur this way on track, and then also invites people in my life with their ideas. Meaning I have an affiliate program called campmembers.com. This is a campsite where I invite people to come in and tell their stories and help people. And this is a way for us to grow when we can collaborate and work together. And it's not easy to find the right people either, so it's got to be picky.
Yeah, that is such amazingly good advice. And I often forget about that, but it's so important when you are in business, whether you're starting a business or whether you're operating a business, is surround yourself with people who can assist you and support you in doing what you're doing. And I had a gentleman on the show, Philip Walker. He's a successful entrepreneur, runs his own business, and he said one of the biggest challenges he had as an entrepreneur was the negativity from friends and family. Oh, why are you trying to start your own business? Why are you bothering with that? You make good money as a sales guy for some big corporation. What's wrong with you, type of thing. And you really need to support yourself or surround yourself with people who can support your vision and help you with your vision, even if it's just moral support.
Well, and too, if you can get people to a level to really help each other, then you can role play. Say you're weak in an area. Well, now you can work on that particular area by role playing. Mm-hmm. I find that when I do something for the first time, it's just, oh my gosh, it's so scary. But if I can break through and do something and find a little tiny bit of success in that, then the next time, it's so much easier.
That's just great advice. And I also like the fact that you just mentioned. Well, you read what was the book, E-Myth.
The E-Myth.
The
yeah.
E-Myth. You know, there's so much good material out there. If you're not reading and keeping abreast of what people are saying and what people are talking about in terms of business, you're losing out. You really need to be. I mean, to me, a good entrepreneur has 3 or 4 different books going all at the same time. You want to better understand the economy. You want to better understand what social and technological trends, demographic trends are occurring that could affect your business. You want to be better understanding how distribution systems work, how marketing works. You need to be educating yourself, and it frustrates me when I'll talk to an entrepreneur or somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur. I say, when was the last time you read a book? Well, I haven't read a book in 5 years since I graduated from college. It's terrible. You've got to be reading.
Well, and you know what? I send that message out to gurus, too. And I send it out to people who we go to listen to them at different functions. And they're like 10 years behind because they have not updated their material or who they are. And you have to. You have to, especially if you're on the level of teaching somebody else. You've got to be current because things change so rapidly in this business. And, you're not servicing people if you're trying to pull them back into old ways that don't work today.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and that is really good advice. And by the way, I like the fact that you mentioned gurus because I've found this. There's some people who, in their heyday, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, they had a great message, but they've not updated their message. They're still trying to sell the same message they were trying to sell 10 or 15 years ago. And sometimes you just have to change your message based upon changing trends and changing economies and all the rest. But look, I'm going to ask you something, Kathy. Could I keep you on for one more segment?
Sure you can.
Okay, wonderful, because we're coming to the end of this segment. It is Mike Manahan, Biz Rap Radio. I'm talking to Kathy B. She's the CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia, having a great conversation here. But we got a break for commercials. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Biz Rap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan. We are the show all about small business and entrepreneurs. And we are today talking with Kathy B. She is the CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia. And Kathy, thanks again for staying with us.
Oh, you're welcome. This is great.
Okay,
you're a great interviewer, Michael.
Oh, well, I appreciate the compliment. Okay, so and just to refresh the audience, Kathy is an award-winning singer, songwriter, musical playwright. She's an author, producer of TV shows, documentaries. She also has her own event space. So if you're thinking of holding an event, she's got a 3,000-square-foot event facility. It's great for business meetings, weddings, just whatever, training sessions, whatever you might need a facility for. It's located in Downey, California, which is in the Los Angeles area. Kathy, somebody listening, they want to get a hold of you. What's the best way to contact you?
They can email me at Kathy at KathyBee.com. It's my name, Kathy at Kathy, B as in boy, EE.com. And just email me. Ask me any questions. I'll be glad to answer them that way. That's my best. A lot of people they like sending messages, but this is my method.
Okay, fantastic. Now, I got to ask this: is B actually your last name, or is that just like an initial or something?
No, it's my adopted name. I adopted this name. I've been Kathy B longer than anybody else. I even have a married name, and it has, it's a name that was given to me by a bunch of students. Uh-huh. And when I was doing something other than music briefly for 1 month, I was actually a junior instructor at Ohio State School for Beauty and Fashion, and in Columbus, Ohio. And the kids there called me Miss B, and I loved it.
Oh my gosh, that's great. That's wonderful. Well, Kathy, we've got only a few minutes left together here. I really enjoyed our conversation. What tips do you have for other artistic people, artists, musicians, singer-songwriters, for them moving forward as they try and I guess capitalize, if you will, on their own creativity, what nuggets of advice can you give those folks?
Okay, tip 1, you're good enough. Tip 2, don't let somebody tell you you're not. Tip 3, don't get involved in just trying to perfect everything before you present it. Present it anyway. 4, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask other people to get on board and help you. 5, don't live in fear. There are a lot of people that are fearful. Oh, if I do this, oh, wow. No. Get rid of that. 6, let your light shine. You can. Everybody has a gift, and everybody can show that gift, and you're special. Everybody's an individual. So basically, just do what you're supposed to do here and be happy. I also want to say gratitude. Gratitude. Be grateful for the gift you're given. I don't care if you don't think you look good enough or all of that. I don't. I mean, oh gosh. And I'm 60, folks. I am 60 years old, and I don't mind saying it, and I'm happy and grateful for every day. And I'm grateful that we have the opportunity, Michael, that you put me on your show so that I could help somebody else.
Wow, that's so powerful, and unfortunately, you were talking a lot faster than I was writing. So if you missed those 6 or 7 tips, you really want to go to bizrapradio.com, listen to the replay of the show, because all of that was absolutely fabulous advice. And I'm going to pick up just on a couple of them. One is the the idea that you're not good enough, and I've had so many. Well, if let's go back to business for an example. Everybody's familiar with Federal Express. Who doesn't know FedEx, right? That's how you ship packages.
Yes.
The gentleman that created that business wrote a thesis in business school, and his concept was FedEx, and his professor gave him a crummy mark on his thesis and said that will just never work. That will never work. That type of business nobody would even buy into. And of course, it's one of the huge success stories, and has changed literally how we do business in America. So yes, listen to other people. But you still have to, sometimes you still have to be true to yourself. You have to say, hey, look at this idea. You've got to have the confidence and listen to other people, take advice, but don't let them steamroller you. And don't get, if 500 people say you don't have it, maybe that's one thing. But if one person says it, it's just their opinion. And you know what they say about opinions? We won't say it on the air because it involves words we're not supposed to use. And this is broadcast on KCAA 1050 San Bernardino, so we are on terrestrial radio. And I'm also glad that you admitted something about your age. I am a firm believer in what I call the elder entrepreneur. We often think of entrepreneurs, Steve Zuckerberg and these other folks that create these great businesses when they're in their 20s. I think there's an opportunity for older people, maybe who've had a successful career, doing something else, working for somebody, working for the government, working for a big corporation, but to be an entrepreneur. And I see a lot of older people being what I call social entrepreneurs or socially responsible entrepreneurs. So their businesses also revolve around providing valued services to the community. They may be making money at it, but they're doing things to help people. So that's great. Kathy, I hate to say this. We've got to come to an end. I'm going to play your song, Do the Dream. It's going to take us out to the end of our show. But thank you so much for being with me today. It is Kathy B., the CEO of Touching Lives Multimedia. You can email her at kathy@kathyb.com. And Kathy, thanks again for being with us. And here is Do the Dream.
a dream full of hope, faith and kindness divine, a world full of love from the power above for all of mankind. I hope and I pray that in this new day, all of our tears and all of our fears will be all swept away. I have a dream, someday I'll see every man, woman, child, animal, tame and wild, living in harmony. I hope and I pray that in this new day, all of our tears and all of our fears will be all swept away. I have a dream for you and for me. Let's all pave the way every day for peace and harmony. I have a dream. Do the dream. Let's all pave the way every day for peace and harmony. Do the dream. Do the dream. Do the dream.
That's Kathy B, everybody, and this is your host, Mike Manahan, Biz Rap Radio. You know, at Biz Rap Radio, we believe we can fix the United States of America through a fundamental concept that individuals pursuing their own economic interests in free markets will create more prosperity for more people than can ever be achieved through government regulation and a planned economy. Well, that wraps up the show for this week. Thanks so much for listening. We will be back again next week with another edition of Biz Rap Radio.